Hello, everybody. And guess what? There's no E3 to this year still. But that's okay, because screw you, E3, whoever's responsible. We're having our own E3 with blackjack and hookers. So, today, everybody, we're doing something interesting. We're doing Microsoft's 2012 E3 press conference. Now, I know what you're going to think. Wait, the 2012 one? I mean, I don't even remember that one, you're probably saying. That's because, yeah, not a lot of people talk about this one. That's because this one kind of fell through the cracks. But let's just say, let me put it this way, everybody. Usually when it comes to E3 conferences pre-Xbox One, the 360 conferences, the Xbox 360 era, people usually think about the early ones doing, well, Peter Moore was in charge, or of course the Kinect one in 2010 that we already did. That's the more infamous one. But this one, I will argue, is by far the worst E3 conference of the Xbox 360 era. Because say what you want about the Kinect one, at least we can laugh at that one. This one, on the other hand, this one takes more of a Nintendo 2008 approach.
I have not necessarily seen this E3, but I have heard of it. And from what I've gleaned off of what people have had to say about it, think about it like this. This is the kind of E3 that probably would have been talked more about if it wasn't overshadowed by the E3 that came after it next year. Or pretty much the entire saga known as the Xbox One original bout.
We'll get to that one. For now, let's see how things were in the final year. Well, not final year, but like the penultimate year of the Xbox 360's era.
So this is the awkward middle child.
See, the thing is, Shirai, that's the thing, Shirai. This conference is quite the masterpiece of crap. And there's a lot of reasons why. It's complicated to explain in words. Just see for yourself.
I will say this, though. Watching this does take me back, and while I do agree that the Nintendo Direct style of stuff is efficient here and there will always be something I miss about how there could just be wondrous catastrophes, or hell, even good stuff up on the stage.
Yeah, there was a certain magic that about E3 conferences that Nintendo Direct style presentations cannot truly match exactly. They may be more efficient, like Jova said, but it's just the more on stage, live thing, unplanned. Well, not unplanned, but like more in the moment thing was kind of made it a bit more interesting to watch.
Well, I don't think Nintendo Directs are trying to be this anyway.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's just Nintendo don't really care for this format anymore.
Okay.
Well,
I mainly bring up the Nintendo Direct style, sure, because that's pretty much the style that most, if not all, companies are going for nowadays.
I don't think we understood this, Shirai. What we meant is that after the success of the Directs, every other company has gone this route. That's what we mean.
And to be fair, they kind of immediately went it in 2020 due to, well, what else? The pandemic. So it was understandable. Sadly, doesn't seem like they survived past that. But anyway, let's set the stage for how things were in 2012. Microsoft were pretty much on top of things, but it came at a cost here. Because if I recall correctly, at this time, Xbox 360s were infamous for the Red Ring of Death.
Not just that. At the time, the primary source of their success was actually, believe it or not, Kinect. Because for as much as people like to make fun of it, and trust me, there are a lot of really good reasons to make fun of it, but if you actually look at the numbers, Kinect was actually the most successful console peripheral ever made. It actually sold quite a lot.
Mind you, the Kinect is kind of like Batman v Superman, in that while it was technically an immediate monetary success, it would unfortunately be a success that would come at the overall brand's detriment, especially seeing as how it affected sales of the Xbox One. But, yeah, what I'm saying is that while they were on top, technically, well, if you didn't count the absolute juggernaut that was the Wii, yeah, Microsoft were having a few issues.
Plus the PS3 was had completed its recovery at this point.
Yeah.
Remember, this was around the time where they already had the Uncharted trilogy, Infamous, plenty of other games, and The Last of Us Part 1 was about to come out in the next year. So.
Let me put it like this. The move that they made with the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death thing was clunky at first. What?
Halo 4.
Okay, look, to be fair, For the time when it was first advertised, okay, good, hype. I mean, who could have predicted how much of a mess the actual game would turn out to be? We're not clairvoyants after all.
Is it public knowledge at this point that Bungie were out?
Yes. Basic Adwebs, after finishing up... okay, so Basic Adwebs, at some point in the mid-2000s, Bungie made a deal with Microsoft. Microsoft would allow them to become independent as a studio, because at the time they were owned by Microsoft. But in order to get that, they had to both give the IP to Microsoft as well as make free more Halo games before leaving the franchise. Those games being Halo 3, Halo Wars 1, and Halo Reach.
Oh, very good games.
Yep. Unfortunately, right after Bungie left to make Destiny, Microsoft created a studio from the ground up called Free for Free Industries. The name is a direct reference to something from Halo, for those who don't know. In the same way that the Coalition is a direct reference to the Coalition of Ordered Governments from Gears of War. This studio, much like the Coalition ruined Gears,
Keep your eyes open.
the Free for Free Industries is regarded by Halo fans as the studio that ruined Halo.
Now, mind you,
And they're still doing it to this day because Halo Infinite, Shiroi, lost 95% of its players only a few months after launch. Why, Shiroi? Because even though it's a games as a service, Shiroi, they can't update games for shit. And even when they finally made the Season 2 update recently, Shiroi, they broke more than they fixed with that update.
I vaguely remember hearing something about that.
Was the story content they added even any good, if they did add story content?
If I remember correctly, Season 2's update was only for the multiplayer.
Wow! Wow, so they couldn't even really deliver on giving us more of that story that they were promising.
That's the thing, at least the Avengers fixed things.
Alright, so...
Like at least...
Joe, but since I'm right now in the middle of playing through Halo 1, so I'm not really in the knowledge about this. Joe, what's happening right now?
Well, what else? It's a Spartan warrior on a typical drop mission overall.
So if I understand correctly, were the Covenant defeated for good at the end of Halo 3?
I don't really want to spoil that since we'll eventually get to playing these for the group overall. Okay, all you need to know is that, once again, we are doing about where, yes, there are, at the time, different enemies, supposedly.
Okay.
In fact, yeah, they don't even know what it is, as the trailer shows.
Okay.
You know, it's funny we talk about Halo, given how, the recent Halo TV Paramount series has been.
Oh, that.
Oh, God,
I mean, hey, at the time of this recording, Paramount Plus is soon to launch here in the UK, and that's apparently going to include Halo.
I'm curious, Dweebs, do you guys care about spoilers regarding that Paramount series?
Well, allow me, Joe.
I'm planning on watching it, so...
Wait, what series? I can't hear you over the noise.
The Halo series for Paramount Plus.
I don't care.
Well, that's the thing, Shiroi.
Sure.
Let's just say, Shiroi,
I can't...
Yes,
spoiling
Pedro?
Dwebs,
Sorry, go on.
without spoiling Dwebs, Shiroi, let's just say, even as someone who has zero experience with Halo, when I first heard it, even I was going, okay, you're deliberately trying to piss off Halo fans, aren't you?
Sure, let me put it like this. Halo is probably more popular with fans' mothers who love soap operas than the actual fans themselves.
Let me put it this way, Shiroi. It's deliberately provocative in the same way that Joel's death in Last of Us Part 2 was deliberately provocative.
Yikes.
So, Shuri, I'm curious. Does your mom like soap operas?
Not anymore. They got too miserable.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Your mom wouldn't survive over here.
Okay, so...
That's the thing, like, we would watch them for years because they air, like, almost every day here. But then, like, even by their standards, they just got too grim, and it's like, nothing is that miserable 24/7, and it's just like she didn't want to watch them anymore.
Let me put it like this, Shuri. The Halo Paramount series puts some of the weirdest soap operas you've ever seen to shame. Like,
Yeah.
I've
I might have
asked
to watch it.
I've asked Pedro for input, and he has said it's comparable to some of the soap operas he's seen over in Portugal. Apparently,
It is. Well, okay, here's the thing. We never made sci-fi soap operas, but yeah, I guess you can kind of say it does. Well, I can tell you about that later, sure.
anyway, though, in regards to the crowd's cheers, to be fair, at the time, that one seemed interesting, and there's the man,
Don Matrick.
the myth, the horror himself, Don Matrick.
This was the guy sure that was in charge of Microsoft before Phil Spencer, and I usually like to call him Mr. Shit-Eating Grin, because look at his smile. But wait for a moment where he smiles, and you'll see what I mean.
Okay, I know this might sound a bit controversial, but when Don Matrick is bad, he's at least entertaining. When Phil Spencer's bad, he's just aggravating.
That's because
Okay,
Phil
that's-
Spencer was supposed to be the hero, but that's for another day to talk about. But yeah,
So what you're saying, Jova? So what you're saying, Jova, was you're the chosen one.
it's like he was definitely the de facto good guy who was helping keep quality in the building before he became the head of Microsoft, which does make me wonder.
Maybe that chair is cursed.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's like the One Ring.
But anyway,
Yes.
as somebody who
Go on,
has
go on.
As someone who has seen Stop Skeletons from Fighting's video on the Xbox One debacle, Don Matrick has quite a bit of a sketchy history, to say the least.
Yeah.
I won't bog down this video with it. I'll just say this. You know how he was with the Xbox One? Kind of shifty, a bit condescending? Yeah, he's been like that for quite a bit of his life.
Yeah. Well, Jova, no wonder he got a job at EA after getting fired from Microsoft.
Before you went to that oh yeah thing.
I think that was after EA. I'll have to look it up, but
I'll just put it like this. Granted, I wasn't really paying as much to Microsoft at the time because I was a PlayStation baby, and I was playing Nintendo consoles at the time. So Microsoft was
hold
the
on.
least on my radar.
So, to the credit of this conference, just like the 2020 one, it doesn't start out bad. In fact, it started out with Halo 4, which, like Jova said, at the time we had no reason to think it was going to be bad. So yeah, and now we start with another AAA game. I actually forgot which one this is.
Is this Call of Duty?
If I remember correctly, Rise of the Tomb Raider gets shown. I think it's the original Tomb Raider. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the 2013 Tomb Raider game gets shown in this conference, but I don't remember where exactly.
Actually, it's perfect you mentioned that, Pedro. In a way, I consider this kind of a sequel to our look back at the 2010 E3 conference, because this one follows a similar format, starting off good, unfortunately ending up crap. However, the difference is that whereas in 2010, the hype of the Kinect was, still very much a factor, by this time, while the Kinect definitely had its player base, it also had given off a bit of a negative stigma as well. Why? We'll talk more about that later.
This is Spec Ops: The Line. I recently got this game on Steam, because I've heard that the narrative for that game is really great, and the guy who wrote this Spec Ops: The Line is now writing Insomniac's Wolverine game.
Nice.
Because I've heard a lot of great things about Spec Ops: The
Oh,
Line. Oh no, it's
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. Never mind, it's Ubisoft. Never mind.
Wait, hold on. Was this before or after Ubisoft really? Oh, Splinter Cell. Okay, so this was before Ubisoft had fell off the wagon.
If I remember correctly, this was the last Splinter Cell game they made before the new one that they just announced recently they're making now.
I think this may have also been the last Tom Clancy game they made before Tom Clancy died.
One game I was wondering, since it's the 2012 one, do they show Hitman Absolution in this conference?
I don't
Not
remember.
sure.
This. I do know they showed Tomb Raider 2013 at one point.
Yeah, because 2012, that was the year of Black Sheep in quite a load of franchises, and Hitman Absolution is considered the one for that series.
Okay, so here's my take overall. Now looking back at a lot of this stuff, Microsoft at the start of the generation came off as like that underdog, the guys who were going up against the big bad Sonys, and they seemed like the ones who were giving gamers what they wanted. Then there came a bit of a paradigm shift when the Red Ring of Death happened. And after that, Microsoft seemed... I don't want to say they had made the conversion to bad guy, because no, that was not really the case until
That was next year.
2013. But there was kind of a bad vibe. Not necessarily a villainous one, but there was a vibe that they needed to straighten up and fly right, especially given how they at first tried to deny the problems with the Red Ring of Death to being so widespread, until they pretty much had to recognize that, okay, this really is a widespread issue. Now, what saved them losing all the goodwill was that they actually did go out and offer refunds, replacement, repairs, the whole kit and caboodle with the Xbox 360 Ring of Death thing.
Basically, Shiroi, to give you a basic explanation of what this is, back when Metal Gear Solid made its big debut in 1998 and changed the industry forever, there were a lot of clones that followed, and the one clone that definitely succeeded at being a great clone was Splinter Cell by Ubisoft.
This is one of the reasons why people do ask.
And this was the last game, yeah.
This is one of the reasons people do ask for a new Splinter Cell, because that was just a game that, well, they always managed to get Splinter Cell pretty much right.
So when did the first Splinter Cell come out?
If I remember correctly, it was like 2000, 2001, around there.
I'll check, because in terms of stealth series, instead of stealth series riding Metal Gear's coattails at that point, 2002, Hitman debuted 2 years earlier with Codename 47, and it takes quite a different approach than Metal Gear, including Eurojag, but we'll get more into that when we get to that game.
I wouldn't really say that Hitman was following in Metal Gear's footsteps. Like, Hitman is... how to put it? Hitman's more of like a,
It's more experimental, you know, you can assassinate your targets in more unique ways as opposed to just shooting them. And find that Snake does assassinations that much.
That's another thing. I'm not quite sure I necessarily call Hitman a de facto stealth game. Don't get me wrong, there are stealth elements, but it doesn't feel as rooted in stealth as, say, something like Metal Gear or Splinter Cell is. Like, I think to me, Hitman feels more like its own beast, where Splinter Cell, while it is unique enough to not be a ripoff, does feel like it was taking cues from Metal Gear Solid. Granted, to be fair, it's also based on the works and writings of Tom Clancy himself, so maybe it's just a coincidence in that regard.
Yep. Like, remember, like, okay, hold on. Yeah, remember before, like in Japan, mostly in Japan, because the first two Metal Gears didn't really take off in the West when they first released. In Japan, it was the original Metal Gear that really popularized the idea, you know, of a game where you avoid combat, you know, that at least it encourages you to avoid combat. And for the West, it was the third one, Metal Gear Solid. That was the game that you know really shook up the industry in the West and showed that games like these can be profitable and successful.
Oh yeah, this was the one where they replaced Michael Ironside with Eric Johnson voicing Sam Fisher, because yeah, another parallel to Hitman. That thing nearly happened to that franchise as well in the same year, 2012. Yeah, I know Blacklist came in 2013, but in terms of announcements, it took fans complaining at IO loud enough for them to change their minds.
Dibs, guess what?
What?
Now it's time for sports.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how it handled it in the past.
Welcome the head of EA Sports, Andrew Wilson.
Dun, 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 dun.
Man, no matter the age, he always looks like a dick in a suit.
I'm pretty confident this guy is a vampire who sucks out the youth of you know, people he captures.
Well, he's British, so that checks out.
Oh, great, Dwibs! FIFA 13 better with Connect. See, Dwibs? That way you can shoot the ball by just kicking in real life.
So
Yeah, I'll be
Pedro,
honest. The only motion controlled FIFA I've played was when I played a FIFA game on the Wii.
The only EA Sports game that I will definitely say definitely benefited from motion controls was Tiger Woods PGA Tour because I actually did play the Tiger Woods PGA Tour 12 game on the Wii, and yeah, it plays great with Wii Motion Plus. It actually it genuinely works really well, and is actually and I will say it's actually preferable over using a regular controller, honestly.
Don't you mean Rory McIlroy PGA Tour?
Was Tiger Woods out of it by 2012?
I don't know when exactly the change happened, but I don't think his infidelity helped.
Well, I can tell you that Tiger
I'm pretty
Woods
sure Tiger Woods
the one.
was still in that by the time of the game that Pedro was referring to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can tell you that the one I played was Tiger Woods.
Anyway,
Okay, I'll be honest. When I play these games, I prefer playing them with the telly angle, as it's called, where it looks like you're watching it on the TV and you can move players around up and down, left and right and diagonally.
Like this. There you go.
Yeah, like that.
I keep forgetting that there actually is a lower end angle that you can play these games on, because normally I just stick with the top over.
Alright, Web. So in this game, FIFA 13, if you want to dribble, you have to actually, dribble with your feet and everything. You have to also do a small little kick to do a pass and a stronger kick to shoot the ball.
It's like you're actually playing soccer.
Yeah, but you could do that in FIFA 2000.
Wait, the FIFA 2000 have motion controls?
No, I thought you were talking about in a general sense.
No, I mean, remember, Dwebs, he said that FIFA 13 is better with Kinect, he said.
It wasn't.
So if I want to tackle a player, I have to dive in with both feet?
Yeah. Tackle the air, and you'll tackle the player in the game.
Okay, so if I recall correctly, is this the part where we pretty much veer all the way up? Well, okay, no, we're not completely off into Kinect land, but here's the thing about the Kinect. Now, I'm not just gonna meme on it and say that, oh, the Kinect never worked. No, far from it. It did work in some cases. The problem is how well it worked in a lot of those cases. Now, for certain things like dancing games, worked amazingly. For certain other things, like, well, almost everything else, it was rough, to say the least.
Yep.
Let me put it like this. It is not as precise as they want you to think it is.
Also, notice how the demos of Madden's being done with the controller instead of using the Kinect.
Exactly. It's like they talk about how it's best played with the Kinect, but we'd rather not show you that. We'd rather you enjoy the majesty of it when you can properly play.
Oh, come on, but we'd have to set it all up, and it's just an extra wire, can't be bothered with it.
Even though they have a Kinect right there.
Yeah, besides, it's clear you have nostalgic memories of having to use extra cables to connect your Mega CD to your Mega Drive, which just want you to relive those nostalgic memories.
I forget, did they say that there was Kinect for Madden as well, Pedro? Maybe that one doesn't have Kinect?
They said, that's what Andrew said at the beginning. FIFA 13 and Madden 13 are better with Kinect, he said.
Oh, yeah, if you said that for both, then, yeah.
How the hell would that work for Madden? Do you have to dress up as do you have to wear a, do you have to wear body armor so you can feel like an American football player?
Don't you see those? It's like you're really in the game.
Yeah, I could totally feel like I'm in a game where it's constantly stopping and starting every 10 seconds.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to experience that if you're trying to play this in a costume.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to readjust all the time, probably.
For those who don't remember, even Mass Effect 3, specifically the 360 version of Mass Effect 3, used the Kinect. Instead of picking the dialogue choices through the D-pad like you usually do in Mass Effect, you could just say them as when they show up on screen. Which, to be fair, that's not actually a bad use of the Kinect.
Is there a halftime show in the game?
Hey, look, Jova. It's Fable. I think it's Fable Legends that they're showing now.
Wait, let's see.
Or is it Fable 3? Now that I think about it.
They're all the. From what I understand, they're all the same ones anyway in terms of making up stuff.
Well, Dwibs, keep in mind that certain Fable games are better than others, and some outright suck.
Unless it's just secretly Dragon Ball Z on the Kinect.
Oh, Dragon Ball. No, I don't think they show Dragon Ball Z for Kinect in this one. That would be the pinnacle of embarrassment. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, no, Dragon Ball Z for Kinect came out in 2010, if I remember correctly, so they wouldn't be able to anyway.
So, Pedro, remind me, well, actually, no, rather inform me. Everything past this is pretty much going to be Kinect-oriented, isn't it?
Well, we're still going to have a Forza Horizon game after this, because, gotta have Forza in there. But yeah, basically, after Forza Jova, we're done with the games.
So, yeah, okay.
But this is a game conference. What do you
Fable
mean?
the Journey. I know this conference doesn't seem so bad so far, everybody, trust me. But remember, the 2010 conference at 30 minutes in didn't sound so bad either. Don't worry, everybody. The conference will take a fucking nosedive. It will.
I mean, Phil's on screen, so I'm being that vibe already.
Again, Dwibs, this was back when we liked him.
Let me put it. Okay, let me make this perfectly clear. The thing about Phil Spencer, at this point in time, he was the head of first-party studios. He had the same job that Matt Booty has right now. And to his credit, when he was in charge of the first-party lineup of Xbox, he did, at the very least, deliver some good stuff here and there. So that's why a lot of people were excited to have him just be in charge of Xbox in general instead of just the first-party stuff. The problem is that whatever he was doing in this time, he stopped doing it for some reason. Because, and don't get me wrong, I understand that a lot of people don't care about this, that I'm about to say. I understand. But here's the thing. The big problem with Microsoft right now is the lack of AAA content. Like, for example, just recently,
Wait,
Starfall...
Pedro, what are you talking about? They just bought Activision and they flipping bought Bethesda. Now they'll have tons of AAA first-party content by buying it.
Speaking of first-party content, here's Gears of War Judgment.
Basically, I'm agreeing with you, but that seems to be their issue. Their solution to the first-party problem is buy up the companies.
Thank you. That's my problem. And see, here's the thing, everybody. I realize that a lot of people are going to say, well, what about all the indie stuff that they get on Game Pass?
Oh my god, is this Gears of War Judgment?
I said that earlier, yeah, it's Gears of War Judgment. It's basically, Shiroi, this Gears game, it's technically fine, but it was definitely the beginning of the downfall.
Pedro, if you'll excuse me, the men have to sort this out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't this the game where that fucking line comes in?
And again, that line is completely out of place. That line is completely out of place because we have seen several women in command at that
That's the thing, Shiroi.
Yeah, Pedro showed me, like, the highlight of that specifically.
See, no, that's the thing, Shiroi. When I first played Gears of War Judgment, I was kind of half asleep because the plot was boring. But then when that line came up, it woke me up like, wait, did he just say what I think he just said? Like, and I had to, go back and check.
He might as well have said, go make a sandwich or something.
No, I love the joke that Joe made when we did the commentary. Like I was going like, the colonel literally just said, "Shut up, woman." The men are talking, and Joe was like, "I'll get back to the kitchen with you." It's just like
I will, and I'll poison your food while I'm at it.
And I mean, it's so weird. A series that for so long had just genuinely, avoided that crap. And okay, to be fair, it was a different writer, but all the same, it just stinks of somebody going, "Hey guys, I'm gonna leave my own footprint here by going progressive and all that stuff."
And that's what pisses me off about that line, because it kind of retroactively, gives people ammunition to try to portray this false narrative that the original Gears of War trilogy was misogynist, even though it wasn't.
Look. And mind you, some people may claim they don't count. I claim they do because they showed up in the remake, the re-release of the first game. The comics, not only do the games, but the comics show that plenty of women were in high command, so... And yeah, okay, maybe that one judge is sexist and everything, but again, it doesn't make sense in this particular world here.
Oh,
But
okay,
yeah.
okay, guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, because we're done with the video games. From this point on, the conference is going to take a fucking nosedive, and I do mean hard. From this point on, this becomes
the way in.
From this point on, Shiroi, this becomes a completely different conference.
Now, to be fair, they do technically talk about some games. However, welcome to Connect City. So, okay, as you may
That's
remember...
the thing, Jova. It's not just Connect City, as you'll see after Yusuf leaves. Go on.
It's big.
Right, yes, being absolutely what I want to think about when gaming.
Hey, Shiroi, did you know that you can use your Connect to Bing things?
I don't care.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, you can watch The Hangover Part 2.
Okay,
I want to play the video games.
It's a shit movie.
okay, you
Give
know...
me the video games.
So yeah, ironically, for those people who think that Microsoft only started being like this with the start of the Xbox One,
No,
they were kind of going down this path. Now, mind you, like I said, I would not blame anyone for forgetting about this because literally the year after, it all culminated with the goddamn Xbox One.
That's the thing. Not like Jova just said. Not a lot of people tell you this, but the 2013 Xbox One debacle was just the culmination of something that's been building up over the years. It didn't just come from like overnight. Microsoft has been steadily going towards that direction.
Part of the reason for this was because, well, after Bill Gates sort of took his eyes off the project, more of the corporate heads thought, you know, games are fine, but they won't be eternal. We should look into a multimedia venture.
Yes, you get to watch Planet of the Apes. Revolution.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. See, we can watch Planet of the Apes on the Xbox 360.
Oh, but it's all this. Okay. I know they can predict this because we're in the future, but we're free. Okay, but Disney, in 10 years from now, sorry, Xbox, in 10 years from now, I don't think people are going to be using that to watch Planet of the Apes.
Okay. You remember how we talked about how the E3 of 2010 for Microsoft was fine until we started delving into all the Kinect stuff. The formula is similar here, only cranked up to 11. Like,
Yeah,
at
trust
least
me. Remember the 2010 conference that we commented on, Shiroi? With the whole, you know, like my gamer's score is totally 100% legit,
Like-
shit. Yeah, this is that conference turned up to 11.
let me put it like
Oh
this.
no, ew.
At
gross.
least,
I love
let me put it like
I love
this.
how you said that when the Nickelodeon logo showed up, Zero.
Let me put it like this. At least with...
Cinema.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Machinima were getting in with some of the actual companies. Let me put it like this. At least with the 2010 E3 conference, you could make an argument that while it did feel lopsided at first, maybe they felt at least balanced enough out. And, you know, and the game stuff was good enough to sustain even with all the Kinect stuff. And also, the Kinect had the excuse that it was newer, so... yeah, you could kind of get why they wanted to show it off, more fair beans.
That's very nice, Joe, but did you know that you can watch sports on your Xbox 360?
Oh my god, he is still going. And you know what? I get it. I get it. This was new stuff here and there. But there's a reason that people don't usually pay mind to this stuff at a games conference. And mind you, it's easy for us to laugh, but imagine paying good money to show up to the thing in person, and you don't get the games. Instead, you get sports,
Go on, finish.
movies, media, stuff you probably can do on a DVD player. Because, yeah, okay, I'm not going to act like streaming wasn't a thing at this point, but it was not to the heights that it is nowadays.
Alright, let me just quickly finish my earlier point, since Yusuf is just talking his shit. Okay, so, none respect to Yusuf, I'm sure he's a nice guy outside of this, it's just that, you know, I can't stand his shit in these conferences. But anyway, Okay, let me put it this way. And yes, I understand that a lot of people are going, oh, why does it have to be specifically that kind of content? You know, the AAA content that Microsoft isn't delivering with their first-party service. Well, here's the thing you're forgetting, everybody. Microsoft is a trillion-dollar company. They have all the money they want and could ever need to fund that kind of content that the consumers are asking for. Remember those $7 billion they used to buy Activision? Why couldn't that money be put into the actual funding of, you know, video fucking games? You know, just saying.
Okay, aside from the horrifying connotation of videos, fucking games.
Well, don't you know?
Okay, fine. I'll correct that. Fucking video games. There you go.
So what you're saying is, like, just like how video killed the radio star, games killed the video star?
If that helps you, sure.
Yeah.
ESPN! We can watch ESPN,
Wait,
guys!
hang on, wait. Hang on. There's an ESPN, ESPNI, and ESPN3. What happened to 2?
Alright, so... Xbox is your new home for sports.
Xbox, sports, NHL.
Oh, look at that, Shira. We can watch hockey.
By the way, fun fact, these things work so well that when people watch...
Oh, look, guys. Windows Phone. That's definitely going to go somewhere, isn't it?
Yes, Jova?
You know what, Sonny? These things work so well that when people tried to watch next year's E3 on it, whenever somebody said Xbox on or off, mind you, the people on screen said it, the Kinect was able to pick it up and turn off the whole system.
That's funny.
Yes.
You guys are probably going to think I'm insane when I say this, but I kind of miss these conferences. Like, they're comedy gold to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't even enjoy playing sports games. I don't want to watch sports on my games console.
Yeah, I gotta confess it, actually.
Yeah.
I did have a Windows Phone.
You know what?
I mean, I've heard it was
hold
a
on,
decent
guys.
phone.
Sure, I have to quote that. Sports are more amazing with Xbox 360. There you go, Debs. You see, football is amazing, Debs. But if you're watching it for the Xbox 360 Kinect, it's even more amazing.
I don't care about your sports ball.
Okay. Unless I can take control of the referee, then no.
Imagine.
You're never getting that, Dwibs. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I love that line. Sports are more amazing with Xbox 360. How exactly, you stupid dumb shit?
Okay.
Because
look,
it is.
Okay,
You
look.
just gotta believe.
On the one hand, I get it. They have to sell their product. But damn it all, there are just sometimes when you can tell, you can literally hear the desperation to sell in not only the tone of voice, but the very phrase spoken.
Guys, Xbox saved. We can listen to music in it. There you go, Shio. You can listen to music in it.
Oh, wow, it's not like there's anything else I can use to listen to on music that might even be more portable than the Xbox
Yeah, like my
One.
PSP.
Like, and you know what? I get it.
Hey, that was an amazing music player.
It was.
Well, I mean, Sony's other major thing is sound, so yeah.
Yeah, both hardware and sound. Yeah.
And you know what?
For those of us who didn't want iPods.
Look, here's always been my stance with this. These are not necessarily bad features. Problem, they're wasting time at a games conference on this stuff. Like,
Hey, Jova. What if I told you they're gonna waste even more time?
okay, let me put it like this. Part of what makes these funny to look back on is that we've had time to definitely cool, settle, and have better E3s along the time.
Okay, more Connect, because we haven't had enough of that yet, have we?
See, here's the thing, viewers. It's a case of you had to be there. Like, let me put it like this. When you're there in the moment, these stuff like this can sting a lot more. It's easier to laugh at stuff when time has passed. Like, so I'm definitely seeing why Xbox fans were not feeling it. Basically, Shuri and Dwibs, at this time, Xbox fans were starting to have a stigma against the Kinect.
Oh. Is this the that Ubisoft exercise Kinect game?
Possibly. Let me put it like this. You know, it stands for, you have one child, but then you start to favor another child over that one. That's sort of how Xbox fans felt in regards to the Kinect when Microsoft
basically.
just started showering the Kinect stuff with it, to the point where they were literally making games exclusive for the Kinect that overshadowed the games that, you know, could be played without it.
So what you're saying, Joe, is, I'm sorry, Jamie, but Mommy loves Billy more now.
Ouch. But yeah, that
Happy McCoy.
Performance innovation to help them unleash their true potential. We've done this for a long time. Nike started by selling shoes.
Nike?
Why are we
What was
talking
Nike
about
doing at a games conference?
brought to you by the same company that brought freaking Pele in for an Wait, was that Microsoft or EA who did that?
I think it was EA.
Boy, Nike Plus.
Come to the Nike campus. They know
But,
they leave
Oh, hey, James
You
LeBron.
If you
LeBron
can
James.
wear your Nike shoes better with Kinect,
Wow, the new Nike game looks great.
Yeah, why can't I play it? Oh wait, no, I can't.
Shirley, we interrupt your games conference to bring you this Nike commercial.
And now, at this
Sure.
games conference, we do present these shoes.
It's too easy. It's too fucking easy.
Honestly,
Ah.
honestly, if I'd been seeing this when this happened live, I'd have wondered if this was going to
Hold on.
lead into a Nike
Yeah, well,
peripheral.
Joke's
Jova.
on you, Nike. I'm wearing an Adidas shirt watching this.
Jova.
Fuck it.
Yes.
Jova, guess what? I was there, man. I actually watched this live when it back in June 4th, 2012.
What was it like?
Did you get your hours back?
Basically, I was watching it with a couple of friends, and we were all laughing profusely at how bad it was.
Like,
Well, at
okay,
least you had company to watch.
Did you have a Portuguese translation feed? Or were you just watching it in English?
I don't need Dibs, I can speak English.
How about your friends?
Oh, friends over the internet, not
okay.
everywhere. Today, we're really excited to announce our partnership with Xbox that brings you Nike Plus Connect training to your home.
Really?
There you go, Nike Plus Kinect training.
Complete with Xbox Nike shoes to track your movement.
There you go, Sheila. Now you can do exercises with your Kinect.
I don't want Nike to track my movements, thank you very much.
I just want to remind everyone that there was a point where Microsoft wanted the Kinect to always be monitoring people.
Microsoft, the whole reason why I play video games is so that I don't have to exercise. so, seriously, what the fuck?
Okay, look, you know what? Exercise game.
But you like Wii Fit, don't you?
What's next? Hey, Shira, guess what? With this Kinect game, you can pretend that you're eating.
Okay, you know what?
I'll just go and get food.
Honestly, if there's one thing I feel that Nintendo did manage to do the best, it was actually making exercise fun by remembering that make it a game first, exercise simulator second. Not to say that they didn't have their exercise simulators here and there, but even with stuff like, you know, Wii Fit and whatnot, I'd argue it still felt enough like a game, and again...
What I understand, Wii Music felt like an exercise simulator.
I only have one thing. I only have one thing to say, Jova. Where are the video games? Where are the video games?
What are you talking about, Pedro? Isn't this totally a game?
Wow, realistic looking. That it literally look like I'm looking at live footage.
Yeah, it's almost like I am looking at live footage.
Unfortunately, there's games that wouldn't be achievable for another 2 generations.
Like, okay.
Also, was that woman feeling that guy's knee? That's inappropriate, ma'am. Like, I'm serious. The guy was jumping, and the woman had her hand on his spine. Like,
maybe that was a form of exercise that does that.
So, yeah, you know, I mean, I think it says something. We've spent about 15 minutes with the Kinect, and already I'm starting to feel like it's dragging.
Jova, we're still only halfway through this thing.
Jova, it's a good job we weren't doing this at the time of this recording. Of what I say to you, Jova, don't give them any ideas. I'll probably make a tracking simulator next.
So, Mark Whitton, okay, believe it or not, guys, this is where the conference hits its low. Yeah, believe it or not, this is the lowest part. Basically, Joe,
Oh
at this point...
no, smart
Yes,
glass.
Sheila. Basically, Sheila, at this point, they stop even pretending that this is supposed to be a games conference.
Pedro.
What do you mean?
Pedro, is this the part where they bring out you-know-who to try and avatar smart glass?
I think it's him that does it. Mark Whitten here, I mean.
What I'm referring to,
correctly.
well, you know those two guys with their whole smart glass thing?
Yeah, I think so, but it's not until a couple minutes from now. We'll see. Basically, Shiroi, we're also going to show off Microsoft's newest invention, Xbox Smart Glass. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Pedro, what the hell is Xbox Smart Glass? I never heard of that.
Is that like Google Glass or some shit?
Don't worry, Well, no. Basically, Shiroi, don't worry about that shit. Don't worry about that, Shiroi. The reason you haven't heard about Xbox Smart Glass is because barely anybody heard about it. That's because this thing was supposed to come out, it flopped tremendously, and it was never heard from ever again. Very few people even remember this thing at this point.
I thought you were going to say it got cancelled.
Let me put it like this. You know how Google are infamous for thinking up these weird gizmos and whatnot that they tout as going to be totally great, only to then go, killed it? Yeah, that's kind of what Microsoft are like. Granted, not as common, but smart glass is one of their many trials.
Basically, Shiroi, here's the basic gist of it. And yes, we're watching Sherlock Holmes. But here's the basic gist of it, Shiroi. So Xbox Smart Glass is basically an iPad sort of, like a touch pad sort of thing that allows you to basically just control your Xbox video and music by just using the touch screen.
Incidentally, while certain stuff is going on, you would also get, I believe, special info of stuff you were watching as well down on the smart screen. In a way, you could consider it a precursor for the Wii U in that regard.
Yeah, basically.
It wasn't the worst idea.
Oh, look, guys, we can watch Game of Thrones via the Xbox Smart Glass.
Play.
HBO Go.
I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones.
Yes, this is back before the dark days of Game of Thrones.
I think they probably blew their CG budget in the last two shows. It's powerful scenes like that which hook you into the show and have you anticipating the next new episode. The episode on the screen is from earlier this season. And as you can see, my phone and tablet are keeping up with all of the action on TV.
Okay, here's the basic gist of it, Shiroi. The idea behind this thing is that while you're watching the movie or TV show on your TV, on the smart glass, it's playing the exact same thing. So let's say, for example, you're watching a movie, right? And you're like, oh crap, I have to go to the bathroom. It's okay. You can just take your Xbox Smart Glass with you, and you can just keep watching the movie while you're taking a dump, because you just take Smart Glass with you. That's the basic gist of this thing.
It's much less work to pause the movie and come back.
Sure. Come on, Shiroi. Why bother pausing the movie if you can keep watching it while you're crapping?
I don't wanna.
There's a thing called a phone for doing that. I think even around 2012 you could do that.
Now, if I recall correctly, there was actually a smart glass app made for the Xbox One.
Was there? I don't even know. Oh, by the way, Dwibs, you can also make sports bets with it.
Again. It's kind of a precursor to the Wii U in that while you were watching stuff on the TV, you could also do stuff that interacted with it on the phone, tablet, or whatnot.
Hey, is this some kind of, Okay, apparently this is some kind of football manager type thing. Or rather, in this case, American Football Manager.
Maybe.
Oh,
and suddenly Halo 4. Oh, you can play Halo 4 with Xbox Smart Glass.
Well, actually, first-person shooters are supposedly doable with touchscreen. Oh, but look, you can also see about the waypoint that's unlocked.
Basically, Shiro, you know how in the Wii U, a lot of games would have the map screen on the gamepad, where the game itself would be on the TV? it kind of works the same way with any game that supported it. Guess how many games supported this thing?
2.
Like 3.
As far as I'm aware, only Halo 4.
Oh.
Imagine being a worse version of the Wii U. And that's
what this is, Shiroi. This is the worst version of the Wii U. Just think
This
about
is
that
sad.
for a moment.
Like,
I know, right?
Xbox bad.
there's too much left of this.
Mind you, I like the Wii U, but I will not deny
Sure.
that. Oh wait, it
But
gets
Shiroi,
better.
we're not done talking to you about how many different ways you can watch TV.
You know,
They really had no games left coming out for this thing, did they?
They technically did, but oh.
This is like on the tail end of it, right?
Well, that's the thing. The Xbox 360 was technically still going after the Xbox One release. In fact, Shori, remember, we have a system for people who don't care for the Xbox One. It's called the Xbox 360. So of course we're going to continue you making stuff for it.
Alright, for context, basically, Shiroi, when you know the whole Xbox One being always online crap from back in the day, when asked directly about this, Don Matrick told you, you can just get we have a console for you. It's called the Xbox 360. That's an offline device. You can just buy that.
You know what's funny? I've seen the video of that. After he answers that, you can see Jeff Keighley kind of die inside at that answer, as even he has to look away from it.
You can use Internet Explorer on your Xbox 360 via the smart glass.
Why would I want to use the internet on a games console? It's terrible.
With Internet Explorer and Xbox,
I guess.
And I mean for browsing, not for online gaming.
I guess, to be fair, they kind of predicted the future on that. Again, here's the thing. At best, it was way too ahead of its own time for its own good. Let me put it like this. They were trying to reinvent the wheel, while the wheel was perfectly fine here.
I'm going to remind you, everybody, we still have 50 minutes of this thing left.
Again, you know what, honestly, I feel like part of the bad will from this is that, again, they're taking up time at a games conference. Like, these...
You started to see... sorry, go on, finish.
There are reasons to this, like, holy cow, I mean, geez, you think it's...
Oh, crap, no.
Oh,
I don't want to watch Prometheus on my Xbox, it's a shit film. If you're gonna pick movies to watch on my Xbox, can't you at least pick good movies?
Yeah, why not Avengers? That came out in 2012.
Hey, first you highlight Hangover Part 2, and now this.
This movie's so stupid. God, stay back, stay back! As I blow a flamethrower in your face, and I'm just whatever. I'm not here to write about that movie. For now, let's move on. You starting to see what I mean, guys? At least in the 2020 Connect conference that we did last time, at least we could laugh at it. This is just starting to get to a point where it's just pathetic.
Not only that, at least the focus, Connect or not, was on games overall.
Yeah.
Xbox, WebHub, Aston Martin.
Hey, look, Grizz, it's your country's company cars.
Now with smart glass.
Well,
There you go, Webs. You can check your cars on the Xbox 360 and the Xbox Smart Glass.
I mean, I guess having Aston Martin here was kind of relevant. I mean, 2012 was the 50th anniversary of the James Bond films, and they famously have Aston Martins.
Oh my god, Pedro, wasn't this right before the meme of Microsoft dropping in a car every E3 began?
Too, yeah. That may be the thing, Dibs, but let me ask you this. Here's the real question, Dibs. Why exactly am I doing this through here and not just using my, my fucking computer, to browse cars? Like, seriously, Microsoft, there's this thing called a computer. You can use the internet with it.
You make those, even.
Wait, not only that, but guys, smartphones were a thing at this point. Why would I use a smartphone to access the internet through my console when I can just access it on my smartphone?
The TV you already own.
Hey, Joe, but you can access the internet with your phone through a console. It was that Japan-only PS1 peripheral.
God damn it.
Seriously, it really is a shame that they never made any memes out of this one, because this one is just as meme-worthy.
That's the thing. Didn't two certain devs kind of take the piss out of it in this very conference as well later on.
Yes, there is, Joe. But in good time. Believe it or not, Shiroi, there will be one moment of cool in this conference still. One moment of cool, and it's completely unrelated to Microsoft itself, as you can probably guess.
No, seriously.
Is it like some kind of guest that they're bringing or something?
You'll see. Let me put it this way. The
see.
best thing they do is take the piss out of smart glass.
Yep.
Is this like...
Oh, yeah, there you go. Tomb Raider 2013. A video game! Look, guys! A video game! We found it! A video game!
I mean, say what you want about the game, the game at least.
Okay. When looking back at old E3s, we do have to discount how the game turned out to be most of the time. Sometimes how it did turn out does still count, but no.
Sure, the OG British video game heroine, Lara Croft.
Was this part of the reboot trilogy?
It's the first one of the reboot trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 2013 one. It's just the official name of the game is just Tomb Raider, but much like with Sonic 06, people just call it Tomb Raider 2013 to avoid confusion with the original. Basically, it takes inspiration from the Uncharted games, combining with still having the more Tomb Dungeon-y like exploring of the original games, basically.
Which is funny because the very first Crystal Dynamics made Tomb Raider game, Legend, came out 1 year before Uncharted. I guess there's a full circle of this.
Hello, is anyone there? Sam, are you okay? I don't know. I'm sorry, what am I gonna do? Listen, I'm gonna get you out of there. I promise. I promise, Sam.
Does she?
Technically, yeah, she does save Sam by the end of this, yes.
I thought she was going to say, well, technically she does get her out of there in pieces.
Yeah. It's like I said I'd get you out of there. I didn't say you'd have to be alive.
Well, it's your hater. The tank's full. Don't let it bleed out, man. That stuff is gold.
I'm surprised they didn't pair this game up with the earlier montage of the first half hour.
I guess they were trying to mix and match here as opposed to just completely isolate on one end.
They probably thought, okay, gamers are going to need something to wake them up by this point. Let's throw in Tomb Raider at this point.
See, here's again... Okay, it's a similar issue to 2010's E3. If they really did have to focus on the stuff that's not really video game oriented, then they should have really have cut down on it, because if people really care about these features, why not make another mini presentation for that or whatnot? Hell, they kind of did avert that next year with the Xbox One, where they spent most of the bulk of the details on the Xbox One in its own little introduction conference. And then had the property free. Mind you, there were other problems with the Xbox One, but at least I guess they learned from that bit.
So the bit where she gets impaled for her chin.
Yeah, this is one of the devs you can have. Basically, sure, one of the sticking points of controversy regarding this game is that there's a lot of, you know, really overly graphic ways Lara can die, and a lot of people accuse the developers of having some kind of, you know, gore fetish and stuff like that.
Either that, or they're really big fans of Mortal Kombat.
Let me put it like this. Tomb Raider has always been kind of a violent series. The problem with the reboot trilogy is that it really just seemed to like to go dark for the sake of going dark at times.
You would hate Angel of Darkness, didn't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, because I only ever played one of the PS1 games, so, like, is that kind of goal standard, or is it just, like, ridiculous in this one kind of thing?
Okay, Dwibs, before this game, was there ever a Tomb Raider game that was, like, had quite a lot of blood or really violent deaths in?
I mean, yeah, there was at least there was at least a lot of blood in One Angel of Darkness character death.
But that was the thing. That was like
guess.
one particular character death. Here, it's throughout the entire game.
I mean, I've seen Mortal Kombat at this point.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. My problem with this game is that it's the same problem I have with Angelina Jolie's Salt. You know, Lara in this game survives things that would kill, or they would either maim or outright kill any normal human being. Over and over and over and over and over and over, to the point where it just starts being comical.
Like, here's the thing. In the original,
I mean, they can survive a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay. Here's the difference in that, though, Glibs. Tone. Uncharted goes for a much more Indiana Jones-esque vibe. The reboot trilogy of Tomb Raider made the mistake of trying to be so realistic, despite the fact that she survives all that stuff. Like, honestly, if they didn't try and go for the serious and realistic, gritty vibe, people wouldn't have taken as much issue with it. Like, you cannot just have your cake and eat it in this regard.
Please don't tell me you have a new way of using smart glass.
Yeah, again, I mean, like I said before, at least Tomb Raider 2013's a game. What are you talking about now?
If I'm to give Phil credit here, he was not in charge at this point. I believe he has gone on to say that he himself had issues with how things were run like this at the time, so...
Have to go along with what
the boss said.
Yeah.
Alright, but let's see what he says.
The next 3 titles are all world premiere.
I mean, there's 2012 we're doing the world premieres.
He loves this word. World premiere.
Like,
yeah, I mean, are he and Jeff Keighley best buddies?
I'm so surprised he doesn't have a T-shirt of it.
Yeah. Speaking of T-shirts, I wonder if he was always doing the whole. Hey,
Toy Soldiers. Well, are we gonna have a full video game based off like Toy Soldiers, the Eminem song?
Maybe the original Toy Soldiers song?
Yeah, either one.
Okay, I actually don't remember this one.
Me neither. Okay, now this is a bit, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can tolerate the graphicness in Tomb Raider, but this is a bit...
Well, here's the thing, Dwebs. Okay, I'm not entirely sure about this game, but the way it looks like so far, at the very least, it looks like it's intended to be over the top anyway, it seems. You know, let me see. At least so far,
the outfits just look ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, I think Sonic Spike hits have less spikes than these guys.
Let me use the example you mentioned before, Bears. Look at Mortal Kombat. The reason people are okay with the violence in Mortal Kombat is because Mortal Kombat is so over-the-top ridiculous with its violence that it's just flat-out cartoonish with its fatalities, you know?
Are you sure people are okay with that nowadays?
Okay, look. I'm not gonna say like everyone's okay with it, but here's the difference. Mortal Kombat started off like that. Tomb Raider did not. It was the stasis of a reboot trilogy, which ended up being very controversial to a lot of people, as reboots tend to unfortunately be.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
here we go.
Fully equipped for any encounter. Fluent in 50 languages, global protocols, and the latest in
cars fluent in languages?
Wait for it.
It's Kit from Knight Rider. Is David Hasselhoff in here gonna show up as a guest?
But wait, Kit was a car, not a motorcycle. It's the Loco Cycle!
The Loco Cycle by Twisted Pixel. Okay.
I have no idea what that game is.
Oh, from Gore Verbinski, the director of Pirates of the Caribbean and Rango.
I don't recall Loco Cycle ever coming out, though. Was it good?
I don't know. I
don't know. Well, I mean, this was the year before Gore Verbinski's reputation as a big budget filmmaker kind of crashed and burned.
Okay. Enjoy this, Shiroi, whatever this is.
I don't care.
Matter.
Thanks.
Made
for Connect.
Did you seriously just show a CGI-only trailer for a Connect game?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Capcom,
Oh,
executive producer.
Evil 6.
Oh no! Okay, look. We don't even need to talk about how this game ended up. Like, no. Throughout the development, there were warning signs that were really putting the fan base one way or another. Okay, let me point it out with Resident Evil 6. Here's the main game of Resident Evil 6. There were some people who were into Resident Evil for more its action, some who were more in it for its horror, others in it for the stealth. Capcom thought, hey guys, let's just make it so that it's a game for everyone. You don't like action? Well, Leon's campaign is for the more oriented stuff. Don't care for that? We'll take on the Call of Duty, Chris Redfield's campaign. So, there was a problem with that, though, in that regard. See, thing is, if you're making it for just this one person here and there, a person plays that campaign, but then they're not getting the full story. So to them it feels like you just gave them a portion of a game instead of a full proper game for that particular part of the game. And that's to say nothing about how the gameplay ended up.
Leon, do you hear me? Are you alright?
Basically, Shiroi, the first campaign we're watching right now, despite being more horror-oriented, like Jova said, the QTEs are back in full force. And the other campaign is basically just a dumbed-down easy as pie Gears of War.
And
That's
then,
basically what it is.
And then you get Ada's campaign, which is more stealth-oriented. And then there's Jacob and Sherry's campaign, which plays more like Resident Evil 3, apparently. Which, I love me Resident Evil 3, but it really just adds into how much of a mess the whole game was.
Basically, sure, this game was so badly received in the fan base and even critically that Capcom put the series in hiatus and seriously rethought about how to move forward with this, which is why Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 took a vastly different direction in comparison to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is terrible.
It really is a shame, honestly, because... Look, Resident Evil 5 may have been divisive, but Resident Evil 5 knew what it wanted to be. And I enjoy it. Resident Evil 6 is the stark opposite. It didn't know what it wanted to be, it tried to be everything, but ended up being none of those things proper all the way through, and it was just a disappointment. And the thing that really ticks me off the most is that, because of that, this may be the last we get to see of some of the classic characters who aren't Chris Redfield.
Sure. Let me give you a basic idea of how tedious this game is. Okay, let's say you're climbing... Okay, you've played games where you have to climb ropes or ladders, right?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine you're climbing a rope. But here's the thing, Shirai. In order to climb the rope, with every movement of each of the two hands the character makes, you have to press right shoulder button, left shoulder button, right shoulder button, left shoulder button, and just keep going with this pattern over and over and over. And while you're doing this, you have to keep doing this over and over. And if you fail, the character will just fall, and you have to start climbing the rope all over from the beginning. And also, Shiroi, he climbs slow, and by slow I mean like realistically, like how a real human being would climb a rope type of slow, you know?
So it looks like they kind of just use the buttons to give you something to do while you're waiting for this fucker to climb?
Basically, that's basically it.
That's so monotonous.
It's beyond nonsensical. It's not fun, it's not challenging, it's just tedious.
Okay, so for as much as we like to dunk on Inafune, this is one of the things that he is not to blame for. No. This was Capcom themselves pretty much crapping the bed.
Currently, by this point... Wait, when did he leave Capcom again?
Is it 2010 he left Capcom? Let me check.
2011, maybe.
It was definitely before 2012. Let's see. Oh, he left, let's see, he announced on his blog on October 29th, 2010 that he would be leaving Capcom.
Oh, there you go then.
So yeah, by this point he was long gone.
That's like just what she writes that there's a lot of visual spectacle, but you're not actually controlling any of it, unlike with Uncharted. You're just doing QTEs, as you just saw earlier with those button prompts earlier.
Now, okay.
See, what makes Uncharted set pieces fun is that they're actually interactive. You're actually doing something, you know. In here, you're literally just watching a cutscene with occasional button prompts.
Now, to be fair, what they showed here was actually fine. Here's the thing, though. So, imagine if, per se, any free Sonic Adventure was being shown. But instead of showing, you know, all the different campaigns...
Everybody, I'm Alex from the Xbox Live team.
What?
Okay, so imagine if, per se, something like, okay, let's say that, Sonic Adventure is being shown at E3. But, the only thing they used to represent it is the Knuckles gameplay, and none of the other campaigns. That's...
Okay, Shiro, sorry, you're gonna hate me for telling you this, Shiro, but I need
Alright, go on.
I need to listen to this woman. See if this woman actually feels like a real gamer girl, as you put it in our 2010 conference. Do you be sure to tell us if you think she's legit. Or if she's just a poser like the one from 2010.
The whole, phrase gamer girl is just so...
I know. I'm just using...
No, I know. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's just really dumb.
It is.
I get it. The idea is that, girls don't game as much as guys, but I always thought, did we really need to shine a spotlight on that? Why can't they just be gamers? I guess, well...
This industry loves, exploiting women in more ways than one. From the CD parts to the exploiting them for publicity, like this.
Sure. For a moment, I thought you were going to mention the Twitch gamer girls.
By the way, Shiro.
Twitch is its own problem.
And guess what, Shiro? This game also went nowhere. Nobody talks about it. No, it went nowhere.
Did it even get released?
I think it got released, but it quickly died because of a lack of interest.
And I'll admit, this was like the first I ever heard of Loco's Cycle. Let me see if that game ever came out.
Probably not.
Oh. Apparently it's on Steam.
Yeah, it did.
However,
I'm guessing it released with no noise. What is this consensus?
It has a Metacritic of 48%.
Okay then.
And Metacritic...
hold on, guys. Here's the highlight of the conference, Shiro.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Oh no. Oh,
is
here
this
we go.
Stick of Truth?
Yeah, Stick of Truth. Yes.
Okay.
It was back when it was being published by THQ.
Yes.
Is this the initial announcement for it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I
Okay.
think it was either the initial announcement or the second trailer, one of the two.
Because I think at this point, the only really high-profile South Park game there was the one on the PS1 and the N64.
Sure, now prepare yourself, Shiro, because Trey and Matt are about to come on stage and take the piss out of Microsoft's conference. This very conference that we're watching.
Oh, this is the part you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while this is going on, just to quick, because you did ask me a question, just while the trailer's going on. I mean, that woman was fine because they weren't doing, the whole gamer score nonsense earlier. She just looked like she was trying to showcase, the demo with a little bit of flair. Yeah, it was awkward, but it wasn't, It could have been so much worse. It was whatever.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, it just since you asked, if it was...
Sure. Yeah, I just meant as a little throwback to our 2010 commentary. Our commentary at the 2010 conference. There you go.
South Park, the Stick of Truth.
An epic quest to become...
Yeah, to be published by THQ.
Hold on this. Alright, let's listen what they say. I love what Trey says now. Listen to this.
Fuck Xbox.
Hold on.
Listen.
We can say what we want.
How many times have you been watching an episode of South Park and thought, I'd like to be able to watch this on my television while hooked into my mobile device, which is being controlled by my tablet device, which is hooked into my oven, all while sitting in the refrigerator.
Okay. Okay, Microsoft, you got Trey Parker and Matt Stone on stage. You should have known this was coming.
Yeah, sorry.
And you know,
asked for this.
You know something's wrong when the highlight is the conference being taken the piss out of by some of its own attendees.
Yep.
But anyway, in regards to Loco Psycho, let's see. The game came out to mixed to negative reviews, generally unfavorable. On Xbox One, it got a 48%. On Xbox 360, the game that it was first announced for, it got a 35%.
They showed up at our office.
Yikes.
They played a demo for Trey and I, and we started running around, and like there was Cartman's house. And
Now I'm actually tempted to see what this Loco Cycle thing is even all about.
The funny part was writing it and saying, okay, well then maybe you're here, and then you've got to go from Stan's house to Kyle's house. And after 15 years of doing the show, it was the first time that Matt and I were like, where is Kyle's house?
Oh my god. You know, it's Sunny Pedro.
Yeah, that's a fun fact that a lot of people bring up today. It was during the making of this game that Trey and Matt sat down with each other and mapped out the actual town of South Park. You know, so basically it was because of this game that we now have an official South Park map.
You know what I just realized, Pedro? Just like with Ubisoft E3 2015, this was also a highlight of this conference.
We really are doing it last minute, so we got to go work on it right now.
Yeah, we're actually going back to the office right now to work on it. That's not a lie. So,
thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I'm sure no issues will plague the game's development.
Well, it was just the publishing itself that was hampered, not so much the development itself.
That did almost end up killing the project, though. Oh!
Sorry, Shiro, the fun's over.
Okay, you know what? To be fair,
I mean, at least this is a video game.
Yeah. Dance Central Free. And you know what? To be fair,
I don't even know this franchise.
Okay, Shirai, here's the thing. Dance Central Free is a video game, Shirai. But what if I told you that's not what we're gonna see?
Are we just gonna see like a dance crew?
Who needs a demo of Dance Central Free, Shiroi, when we can just watch Usher
based on the same dance moves that I perform?
Why is Usher here?
Live on stage.
To give you a performance, Shiroi.
Is Usher known for his dancing?
I can just show you myself.
Yes.
Shiroi, didn't you come here to watch a live dance performance by Usher at this games conference?
Okay, live performances at video game conferences are nothing new, but usually they're just like the theme song or whatever. Like, wouldn't it be better to showcase him like playing the game?
I know, right? This is one thing I've always said. Okay, if you want to have the live performance there, fine. But why not have them show it with the game going on? Like, I guess to be fair,
make it make sense.
If I recall correctly, at least Konami had the cast of Glee do a sing-along with the actual game playing in the background, whereas the game ain't even playing on the screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your game. Is this even a games conference? Is it?
Yes.
We interrupt your games conference to bring you this Usher concert. Enjoy.
When you said that bit with Konami and Glee, I thought you were going to say they did a cover of one of the Metal Gear Solid theme songs.
You see what I mean, Shiroi? They're not even showing the game on the screen. This is literally just an Usher concert.
Like, again, at least when Konami did this with Glee, and if I recall correctly, okay, Pedro, when Ubisoft brought, of all people, Jason Derulo up on, did they at least have Just Dance playing in the background when he did his performance?
I don't remember. Sure. I'll use one of your remarks that you made when we watched the season 1 finale of NFNE. You were expecting a demo of a video game in this conference. Does that make you brave or stupid?
Again, Usher can dance.
I'm gonna take your okay. I'm gonna take that as both. maybe.
Okay.
Both.
You know, to be fair, Usher can
They
sing.
could have had the game in the background, but
They
yes,
really could have. Like, Usher is a
I would have
great
fixed this.
Usher is a great showman presence. He can definitely sing and dance, but yes, why would you have this without at least having the gameplay in it? Or
to go back to that original 2012 viewing that I had with my friends Jova, one of my friends at the time literally went, "This is so bad." Because like seriously, we're literally watching Usher live on E3. And again, you'd think this, like Jova said, if they were having him play.
Now they're showing it.
Oh, like when the song's nearly over, I presume.
Unless we're.
And they're not showing it anymore. Because there's smoke covering the screen.
There it is. It's back now.
All right, cool. Keep it there.
And you know what? To be fair, they are trying to have the moves coincide with how they do this or that. So, fair beans. But again, why didn't they just do this from the start?
Or even better, have him play the game on stage.
Yeah, he could have easily done that, I think. It's just a rhythm game.
Yeah, but it's not like Usher's, okay, since I asked Dover to seeing it now, it's not like he hasn't got rhythm or anything, it's just...
I still feel like the Michael Jackson game was the best of these dancers, honestly, back in the day.
The Michael Jackson experience.
Well, they don't call Michael Jackson the king of pop for nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you guys played the Michael Jackson experience on Kinect?
Yeah, well, no. I played mine on Wii.
The only Michael Jackson game I've ever seen is, I think, is it the one called Thriller? Or, like, the Genesis game?
I think that's
Moonwalker. That's
Moonwalker,
That's
okay.
Moonwalker.
Yeah, that game is something.
Oh, yeah. The arcade version that we commented on is better.
Well, at least they showed some of the game with it. Oh,
Yay.
it's you again.
Oh, wonderful.
So, are we done here, Dawn?
We still have quite a few minutes left.
We need janitor experience.
Sure, a round of applause for Usher, because as Dawn just put it, he was great.
And you know what? He was, but he was not used well.
Yeah.
Look at his face. Look at his shit-eating grin.
More fun. A time when we bring together your games, music, movies, sports, and TV on every screen in your life.
TV.
There you go, Shiro. Your games, your movies, your TV, and your music all in one screen.
It's when every TV becomes a next-generation smart TV. And when producers, directors, developers...
Might as well ask the question, Shiro. Have you ever wanted to play Splatoon while connected to your mobile device, which is also connected to your TV, which is also connected to your oven, all while you're sitting in the refrigerator?
You know what would be funny, Pedro?
No.
Do you know what would be funny? Is if that stint is pretty much what killed Smart Glass for the mass public.
A game that's found its home on Xbox, and once again, all new content will launch first only on Xbox 360.
Hey, Don, by the way, Don, could you do something about your hair? Look at how fucking... It's like he hasn't showered in months. Look, seriously, his hair is so oily. I know that that's like completely pointless shit that I'm complaining about, but still.
Guys, look, a game.
Oh, Call of Duty. Okay.
Oh my god, are we seriously gonna end this conference with Call of Duty as well?
Well, I guess it's a game.
Okay, you know what? I forget if Call of Duty had become the meme that it is nowadays. Like,
at this point, kinda, yeah. Not to the extent that it was later, but by this point, people were starting to get tired of it.
Keep in mind, folks, Call of Duty these days is apparently in trouble. That was something people thought impossible because Call of Duty was just that thing that kept
Which is
selling.
ironic.
But now
which is ironic Jova, considering Call of Duty was probably the primary reason why Microsoft bought them.
Yeah, but
all of Activision Blizzard is in trouble.
Yeah.
Preliminary reports are below expectations.
Thank God. Mason, what's our next move?
Madam President, we're taking you to the prom night shelter under the Bonaventure.
What about you, Dwibs? How would you feel about playing everybody's golf while having your PlayStation VR on your head, while being connected into your mobile device, while being connected into your oven, while sitting in the refrigerator.
I mean, everybody's golf in VR is apparently a thing now, and also again, golf game VR that kind of fit. But if I had to plug it into my phone, and have to run it powered with a combination of my oven and my freezer, then that'd be a bit difficult.
To back up what Dwebs is saying, no, I can, as someone who has played golf games on the Wii, no, actually, motion controls actually work really well for golf games, actually. And VR, I can also imagine VR working really well because that way you can literally visualize the entire green field, you know? So that the golf genre is actually one of the few genres where this kind of stuff actually does work.
Oh god, I wonder if they show 007 Legends in one of these conferences.
And I said this before. You know what? Hey, Dwips, here's what we could do. Imagine this: Mortal Kombat 9 with Kinect. In order to do the spear, you just say, "Get over here."
Yeah. You say you yell, "Get over here," or at the same time pull back on a chain.
Yes.
Honestly, if the Kinect had actually been a success, well, okay, to be fair, the makers of, oh wait, no, actually, no, I vow Mortal Kombat games do come to Xbox still. Could you have seen a Scorpion game made for the Kinect?
Okay, I know that, this is still going on. You know what? Might as well start with the final thoughts because this is the last thing. Shiroi, what are your thoughts on this games conference?
Well, this was essentially a Microsoft text showcase with video game infomercials?
Yes, a couple. You can. Let me put it this way, Shiroi. You can do all this shit with your mobile devices and your TV and your music and your smart glasses. Oh, and you can also play games if you're into that sort of shit.
Like, this is something that, and I'm sure a lot of people hate it too, but just like game consoles developing into just all-around home entertainment systems. It's like, listen, I just want the video games. It's what I bought this thing for. I have a TV for the rest of that shit.
I will argue that there's nothing inherently wrong with also having some multimedia features, as long as that's just...
It should be secondary, though.
Yeah, of course.
But a lot of these companies are pushing it like the video games are secondary, or even tertiary. It's like...
Well, to be fair,
why?
To be fair, it's only been Microsoft that has ever done that. At least this is the first party companies that I'm aware. I mean, Nintendo and Sony never actually tried to mostly just market the multimedia stuff to be fair.
Nintendo don't really care anyway.
Well, that being said, the Switch does have Netflix and all the other stuff as well. It's just that, like they don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's not their priority. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what I think of this. This was just...
Okay, might as well ask. What was
terribly
worse?
free.
Okay, might as well ask. What was worse? This one or the 2010 one with all the Kinect and the My Gamer Score is 100% legit shit?
This one, because I could at least laugh more at the other one. This was just, it dragged. It was very boring and terribly paced. And it's supposed to be E3, a game conference.
Let me put it this.
Completely lacking in video games. You failed your purpose of being here that year.
The sports angle aside, for the most part, the 2010 one still remembered to focus mainly on the games, even if they were Kinect-oriented. Here, we have had literal breaks.
What are you talking about, Microsoft, in the interest of time? You don't have you completely lack the regard of the time in this pacing, like Shira just said.
Yeah, like, these people here are an hour and a half closer to dying. I hope you're happy.
Shira, it's like Peter Pan said in the Chip and Dale movie. Death's coming for us all, kids.
We're all dying.
I'm gonna make you watch that movie, by the way.
Oh no! I will happily watch that movie. Like, whenever we can, I do want to see that because I'm genuinely curious.
They're laughing at me. You see, Jova, they can't laugh at me if I'm the one if I'm also on the joke. Are you though? Yes, I am. Did you know
I want to
have a
see
TV
Ugly Sonic get his break.
That's the thing, Shiro. Like in that movie, Ugly Sonic is signing autographs. They're laughing at me. See, I can't. I can't be. My feelings can't be hurt if I'm in on the joke, and then the character right next to it is like, "Are you though?" Yes, I am.
It's the ultimate copium.
All right. Anything else, Shiro?
No, that's it.
Dibs, what are your thoughts on this supposed video game conference?
Video games in it. That's the most positive I can say. It's unfortunate that a lot of it was pretty weirdly connected to non-video game brands like Nike. And even as a whole, everything was just kind of boring. Like the games, some of the games were just not that interesting. That's not even getting into the entertainment stuff, which was most of it would only really be relevant for the US. What about people outside the US?
That's always been a problem that I always point out about Microsoft's deal with the Xbox.
People in the UK were all for this stuff, but aside from the US and the UK,
yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing
Europe
about
as a
Microsoft.
whole, maybe, but outside of those two, not as much.
That's the thing, Jova. Not even that, because if you take a look at the metrics, Xbox has barely the Xbox brand has barely any pull outside of the US and the UK. So it's abundantly clear that they were always primarily aiming at the US market.
To be fair, they were trying to go outside their comfort zone with the 360, given how they were trying to get into that. And part of that was the problem that Japan is not very welcoming of stuff that ain't their own a lot of times.
Yeah.
Okay, now don't get me wrong, Microsoft nowadays aren't doing the best job, but I would say that they were trying their darndest back in the day to make a flash there. It's just like, well, the game was kind of set against them when it came to where games are biggest.
Off my thoughts. Well, at least we started off this E3 marathon of ours with a really bottom of the barrel kind of E3. So should they go up from here, right? I said that forgetting we were doing another one.
Well, you'll see. You'll see. Alright then. Yeah, my thoughts on this overall. It starts off, and again, mind you, this is not taking into mind how the game actually turned out, but it starts off somewhat promising with Halo 4. Serious mascot at the time. The franchise was absolutely big still. And you know what? New developer. Maybe it could have worked out. Now, if we factored in how a lot of these games, even that local cycle game apparently turned out, this conference would be even worse, but let's try and ignore that. The pacing in this thing is god-awful, and that's the thing. It's not even god-awful all throughout, so you at least get used to it. See, no, the pacing actually starts off relatively fine. It's just that immediately, as soon as we go into that long-winded bout with Connect Sports, stuff just falls off the rails, I tell ya.
Sure, but I'm sure Xbox Smart Glass is going to take off and become one of the all-time great, devices that people have to use at their home.
Is it just extra insulting that a lot of the stuff that they wasted time on ended up being the biggest failures in the long run?
Yeah.
That makes the time feel even more wasted. And it says something when Resident Evil 6 feels like more of a highlight than...
So what you're saying, Jove, is Microsoft, you've wasted so much of my time.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, that is pretty much the overall sentiment with this thing. And mind you, if you were watching this live and you were just in it for the games, I am sorry. Like, I feel like the actual games. Okay, let's be generous and say the actual games still take up 50% of it. It does not feel like that. Like, with how the pacing goes, it feels like the parts that you are not invested in go on for so long. And I know that some will say time is relative, but it should not feel like that. Now, if there were people who were very excited for Xbox Smart Glass and all that other stuff, woohoo, more power to you. But I think it's safe to say that the vast majority weren't all for it, especially given how Smart Glass kind of, well, died. Pretty pitifully, honestly.
Nobody talks about it. Like, if you go, seriously, here's an experiment, everybody. Go on Twitter or whatever you use and ask, hey guys, remember Xbox Smart Glass? I can assure you 90% of the answers will be Xbox what? Go on.
Like, oh boy, no, this is not it. Oh,
No.
this is not
wait.
it.
What you're saying is this ain't it, Master Chief?
That said, I do feel like what saves this from being as bad as a certain other Xbox conference is like, well, it never gives the feeling that they were absolutely going all in. Oh, mind you, it gives the feeling that they were definitely all for this stuff, but at least the presence of proper games, you know, it didn't have a certain cloud over it that really painted the narrative overall. Like, how to put it like this? This would have been the one that everyone clowns on if it literally weren't for next year. And mind you, to be fair, next year made quite a definitive argument for why people hated that one even more. But that is for another time.
So yeah, I hope now you understand why I really wanted to get this one under our belt, because yeah, this conference really fell off the cracks. When people talk about bad Xbox conference, they either bring up the 2013 ones or the 2010 one because of the whole Kinect shit, because of the whole Skittles and all that shit.
Wasn't there also the 2011 one, which has that totally real kid that the mother or woman is talking to via the AI?
yeah. That 2011 one is also bad, but I will argue it's not as monumental. Like the 2011 one feels more like an extension of the 2010 one, if you get my point.
Fair enough.
This one, on the other hand, this is, wow, like I've said before, this is the 2010 conference blown up to fucking 11.
Yeah.
It even follows a lot of the same formula. To its credit, unlike the 2010 one, it does eventually bring back a couple games here and there. It doesn't go immediately all Kinect and nothing else till the end of it. But man, like Jova said, at least the Kinect stuff was actually game related. We literally had a full-blown half hour, maybe even more. I didn't count how long it took. It definitely felt like an hour. We had like 30 minutes at least of nothing but movies, TV, smart glass, phone devices, and Nike. Fucking Nike.
Yeah, that's right. Nike, of all things, was in here. Again, if I'd been watching this currently, I'd have at least hoped that, oh, maybe they're making a Nike peripheral, but no, it's just some glorified exercise program, which I guess resembles a game, but it's boring.
Yep.
Again,
Exactly.
I get it. There's a market for this sort of stuff, but I don't think it calls for wasting as much time as they did on it.
Nobody cares. Seriously, nobody. And you know what's the interesting thing about that, Jova?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I actually, because my dad kind of really likes, new tech and all that stuff. So out of curiosity, back in 2012, I remember very quickly, I showed my dad the moment in this conference where Mark Whitten is showing off the smart glass. And so, see, you can do this thing where you can just speak to the device and it will play. You can say pause and it will pause. You can even use the smart glass to use your fingers to touch and all that stuff. And he was all like, "It feels like there's a bit too many things involved, he said. So even the casual people who are non-gamers, like even those weren't interested. That's why Smart Glass failed. It didn't even cater to the non-gamers.
Yeah.
So who exactly is Xbox Smart Glass for?
Like, okay, I think the problem with Xbox Smart Glass is it's way too redundant for its own good. Like, I'm pretty sure smartphones had a lot of these online capabilities themselves. Like, why would one go through the extra trouble of hooking it up to a console, to use the internet? But you can already do that with the device itself.
It's just the entire concept of this. It's just like with the Xbox One TV thing. It's not like the Xbox One was replacing your TV box or anything. No, it's just something that you have to connect to your TV box. It's just a peripheral on top of another peripheral. Who the hell thought this was a good idea? It's so stupid. Like it's not even just the execution. The very concept of it is dumb. It's just dumb. Whatever. Taking aside the fact that this conference is completely shits all over itself in the middle section. Also, Usher.
Okay.
Why is there a...
Again, I don't think having Usher was inherently a bad idea. What I do think was bad was how they handled it. They only start showing the game towards the song's end. Like, if you want to have Usher, maybe have him dance along with the game, which, again, they did eventually have him do, but near the end, like, did something go wrong? Like, was that originally the plan, but there was a malfunction with the actual game footage, and they can only have that show up later?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. It's absolutely baffling that Microsoft at that time was genuinely thinking that this was a good idea. Like even recently when they had their last year when they had their 20th anniversary party, they themselves took a piss at these times. Like and don't get me wrong, I appreciate them for acknowledging and really looking back and saying, yeah, this was a really stupid phase that we went through. I understand that, but this may sound a bit out of topic real quick, but I'll be quick. But at the same time, while they did technically get better, I will argue they replaced these problems with other problems. But whatever. The basic point is, Call of Duty is Call of Duty. I just don't care. Tomb Raider is a good game. It's not story-wise, it's a mess. But to be fair, gameplay-wise, is a pretty good game. Like if you're like me and you're capable of separating yourself from the story, as long as the gameplay is really good, you can still enjoy Tomb Raider. Splinter Cell, yeah, it looks good. What else did they show? Forza Horizon. I'm not really into car simulators, so. But I'm sure it's good. But the Playground Games is good, so I'm sure it's fine. As for Gears of War Judgment, well, we have an entire commentary of it on this channel, everybody. So if you want to see our full detailed thoughts on Gears of War Judgment, go check that. I'm having Loco Cycle. It looks like a game, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what the hell that game is even about, based on that teaser, to be honest with you. And there was that game that was being shown by that lady which was apparently you just throw shit in a catapult and you destroy castles. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looked like goofy, cartoony fun. It just didn't look like it was very elaborate. Like it felt okay based on what they showed there. It seemed like the basic idea of that game is just put thing in catapult, shoot, put thing of catapult, shoot, put thing in catapult, shoot. It does look like the novelty will wear off pretty fast. At least, I mean, maybe there's more to the game and they just did a poor job of showing it. But based on what I've seen here, it doesn't look particularly great. To be honest, it looks like it would just be like something that you laugh for like the first couple of times, and then you're just like, well, this is just the same thing over and over. So not really great there. Resident Evil 6. Yeah, Resident Evil 6. Moving on. Yeah, this conference is not legendary because people most of the time forget this one even exists. But honestly, they shouldn't. This should be legendary because this really is absolutely atrocious. This is the pinnacle of the Kinect TV shit. And yes, don't get me wrong, I understand that a lot of people like to point at the Xbox One reveal as that. But let me put it this way, the Xbox One reveal is only 1 hour long. And not to, in this one on the other hand, they even go a step further by not only making it longer, by introducing a fucking. And by the way, did I mention that is the very next year in the 2013 conferences they didn't even mention anything about smart glass?
Yep.
So apparently, smart glass didn't even last a year.
If it did last, well, they saw no reason to mention it, which is quite
which
telling.
Says a lot. Yeah, which says enough, basically. Yeah. Xbox's 2012 conference may have been forgotten by this point, but I will argue it should not, because yeah, this conference is definitely really great for riffing material because it's just too easy. When you get to the middle portion, the jokes just literally make themselves. It really is it really was a great showcase of how, trust me everybody, the 2013 stuff, that didn't come out of nowhere. They were building up to it, as you saw today through this one. So yeah. So that was the death of Xbox Smart Glass, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.
Tragic end.
But again, like I said, I'm totally going on the internet and asking people randomly, hey guys, remember Xbox Smart Glass? How much you want to bet most of the answers are going to be Xbox what? I don't know what that is. All right, everybody. That was the Xbox 2012 conference. Tune in later because we're not quite done with Xbox just yet on this run.
No. As you may have figured out, Konami and Activision won't get slots because, well, their E3s were their first and last ones. So some things might need to take that up.
Exactly. So tune in for whatever we do next E3-wise.
See you then.
See ya.